Today we're going to talk about the Graytell device. The Graytell device is much like the well-known Enigma machine used during World War II. It is used to encrypt and decrypt messages without needing electricity. And it can also be easily carried in the field, and it does a very good job at protecting your private conversations. So let's review the different parts of the Graytell device. It uses 3 gears to select letters and numbers. Each of the 3 gears has a different arrangement of letters and numbers, and they are interchangeable to provide a large number of different combinations to ensure security. This is the encryption and decryption section, and it has what we call the toggle. Next we have the message input-output section, and this is where your message text is handled. And this is the gear lock. You don't have to use the gear lock, but it can help you make sure the gears don't move while you process each character of your message. Let's encrypt a simple message so I can show you how to use the Graytell device. Every message must have what we call the key. You and your team must know the key to the message, and you must use the same process to set the key every time. The key is always 6 characters long and is created like this. Choose one of the 3 gears. Let's pick gear number 2. Next, choose a character on gear 2. Let's use the letter D. So I'm going to write that down to D. Now we have the first 2 characters of our key, 2 and D. I will choose gear 1 and the number 7 for the next 2 characters of the key. Finally, gear 3 and letter F finishes the last 2 characters of our key, which is 2D, 17, 3F. Okay, let's set up the Graytell device with our key. Move the toggle to the left position and place gear 2 on the left post and rotate it so the letter D lines up with the toggle. Right here. Next, move the toggle to the right position, and we're going to place gear 1 on the center post so its number 7 lines up with the toggle. Finally, place gear 3 on the right post and align the letter F with the white pointer. Okay, now I'm going to push the gear lock pin into the gear and double check the gears are set up properly. Gear 2, letter D, gear 1, number 7, and gear 3, letter F. So now it's time to remind you to be careful to remember the letter O is wider than the number 0. This is common with most fonts. I always put a diagonal line through the 0 when I write it down, just so I can make sure it's not an O. Also be careful when writing the letter I and the number 1 so that they don't get confused. So here is our message that we want to encrypt and send to our group. Food at location Bravo, 1600 hours. So let's begin. You and your group must know how to start, and I always start with the toggle at the left. So rotate to the letter F. We already have that here. And write down the D. And I'm going to underline the F so I know that I processed it. Next, we're going to go with the O character. Unlock, move to O, lock, move the toggle here, that's an X. Now we're going to do the letter O. We're already in position, but we have to move the toggle and use letter M. D is our next letter. Rotate to D. Remember, the text of your message is always processed here. D is a 6. A is next. P. Letter T. S. I always process my messages in groups of 6 because the key is a 6-character key. This makes it easier when you send this message, usually by radio. Maybe you're using a walkie-talkie. Maybe you're just using paper. But keeping everything in groups of 6 seems to make a lot of sense. We're on the letter L. That's a J. Letter O. Is an X. The C. Is an A. A is a B. T is an R. I. Remember, that's an I, not a number 1. Numeral 4. The O, not the 0, but an O. Letter M. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, I made a mistake. M goes down here. Okay, the N. N is the letter Y. Next is the B. The B happens to be a B. R. Becomes a U. A. Is a P. V. Letter N. The O. Is an M. Number 1. Letter L. Number 6. letter C. Then we have 2 zeros in a row. So I'll set this on the 0. That would be a C. And number 8. Now we have finally the letter H. H is a 5. There's our encrypted message. Now that your message is encrypted, you could send it to your recipient something like this. If you're using radio or a walkie-talkie, you could tell them message coming, message text to Delta 173 Foxtrot, Delta X-ray Mike 6 Papa Sierra, and so on. Your recipient must always know the key comes first, the message follows. Now we're going to decrypt this message, and I'm writing my message text down off camera, but I'll show it to you when we're done. So we're going to use the same key, therefore I'm not going to set the gears up again. They're already set up for the proper key. Remember, this is our key. It's always the first 6 characters of our message. So I know that is the key. So I know that the letter D is the first encrypted letter of my message. So we always start here on the left. I like to decrypt my messages without using the gear lock, so I just keep that all the way out here so the gears move freely. That's just the way I do it. You can do it any way you feel helps you. So I'm just going to start decrypting my message. Line up the gear. Always start on the left. We have a D. D becomes an F. Then we go to the next toggle position. That's an X. So line up the gears to the X position. That's an O, letter O. Toggle. Then we're on the M. M already happens to be in position, so that's another letter O. Now we're going to do 6. Toggle over here. Rotate to the 6. That's a letter D. Remember, your encrypted and decrypted text is always handled in the encryption-decryption section. Your message text, whether it's going in or coming out, is always in the message text section. What's our next character? P. P is an A. S. S is a T. J. L. The X. Is the letter O. A, toggle, is a C. Character B, A. character R. T. Next we have the numeral 4. I. Letter M. O. Letter Y is an N. Letter B is a B. Okay, what's next? The U. Is an R. P. A. Now we have an N. N is a V. What's next? The M. M is an O. Then we have an L. L is a numeral 1. Two C's in a row. So we'll put here, go to the C, we have a 6. Then we're still on C, go over here, set this for a C, that's a 0. Numeral 8 is also a 0. The last character of our message is a 5. 5 is an H. So here's my message. Food at location Bravo, 1600 hours. We don't encode or decrypt spaces. Your brain will put those in for you. Sometimes I'm asked, why use a toggle? You could just have two arrows that are always in position. The toggle helps you remember which gear you used last, because we always toggle between gears to help scramble the message even further. Well, that's it. That's all it takes to use the Graytell device. It's pretty simple. No electricity. Have fun with it. If you have any comments or suggestions, you can post them down below this video. Thanks for watching.